Is my screen shared?
Yes, sir.
So, well, I was asked, and I'm sorry because there was some miscommunication. So, doesn't matter. I'm not at home, so I've been able to get my slides through Telegram. So, this is one of my colleagues who was handling this relatively large ASD. So, he tried many times, but he got into repeated Cobra head. So, but he managed to deliver the device with the help of a balloon support, and that's what the device was looking. He checked for the stability, did a Minnesota, and released the device, and everything was fine. When none of us would like things to be like this the same day or the next day. Am I audible to you?
You are
Am I
audible.
audible?
You are audible, sir.
So nobody will like things like this after you have delivered a device, but that can happen. Of course, nobody will release a device which is unstable like this, because all of us know that we have to check for the stability, and we check for the stability like this. We do a Minnesota in which we try pull and push. We should not be very aggressive, but often we do it. And even a device which has been tested to be very, very stable, like this case, did embolize. This was one of my cases, which was about 20 years ago. This was a large device, but even small devices like this can also fly for various reasons. So device stability is one of the important issues once you're delivering a device. And in fact, anybody who wants to deliver a device should always be prepared just in case it flies off as to how to get it back. So that is what we were with the device, and where my colleague was quick to catch the device, but was not able to get it into the sheath. Probably he was not catching it tight. And how do you know you're catching it tight or not? I think just pay attention to this part of the loop of the snare within your snare catheter. If you catch it well, this straight part will bend. It will never be straight if you're tight. Second thing is this loop, which is close to the pin which you have caught. This loop will close now. So next time, I think if you look at it, this is a tighter catch. This is closing. This is bent, and then he tries his luck. He's able to get maybe a little bit into the sheath, but well, he's not able to swallow it, so it goes up. I think one important reason is that he was using Emplar's gooseneck snare, and if you compare it with this snare, which has an interdigitation, it has a less chance to slip. Well, the same was tried in this case, and what was found was that despite using this snare, which is a tri-loop snare which is acting in different planes, even this was not able to really retrieve. The other reason is that if you're catching a device from the pin, it tends to slip. If the device is small and the sheath is big, you may be able to swallow the device within the sheath, like is happening in this case. We have caught it from the pin, not from the screw side. But if the combination is reversed, the device is big and the sheath is small, then of course, very often you won't be able to swallow the device within the sheath. What was happening was, if you look at it carefully, that catching is not a problem. But what is happening is, what you're catching from the pin, because the screw is not facing the end of the sheath. This is the end of the sheath, and what is facing is the pin, and any snare which gets out will catch the pin only. So you have to get around the device either from below or from above, which was done in this case. An angle catheter is taken through which you can take a snare. The best is to take a pigtail. But the problem with the pigtail is usually the length of the pigtail is longer than the length of the snare. Second thing is, the fit within the pigtail is usually very tight, unless you take 8 or 9 French pigtail, which I don't think is nowadays available in any of the cath labs. So for practical purposes, you will not be able to use a pigtail. You will be able to use an angle catheter. And internal memory guiding catheter is a good choice because it tends to curve back and tends to throw the snare on the opposite side. This is what was done in this case, and we caught it from the pin this side, but even catching from the pin was not helping. And in the meantime, what is happening is your patient become unstable, and this instability in the rhythm, as well as patient feeling very uncomfortable. The pressures are also not keeping very good. This is usually when the device is hypermobile in the right ventricle. And anybody who's handling these devices should know how to stabilize these devices. And how to stabilize, the best way, of course, there are different methods. The best way is, in case you have a bioptom, and better than bioptom will be a retrieval forceps, because retrieval forceps has a wire which is automatic, which can pass through the network of the device. And then this part, the jaws, they can catch hold of the device from any part. They do not necessarily need to catch it from the pin or the screw. Any part it can catch it. And the moment you catch the device, this becomes stable, the rhythm becomes stable, patient becomes stable, and you have all the time in the life to catch it either from the pin or from the snare, which was done in this case. And after you catch it, then the second step is this forceps, retrieval forceps should be released and pulled back into the sheath, which was done in this case. And now you are trying to take it into the sheath. You're not able to take into the sheath. In fact, what is happening is the sheath is trying to shorten. Brute force is being applied. Now, this brute force, at times you are able to possibly retrieve the device, but very often this will result in either damaging the tip, but surely damaging the shaft of the sheath. What happens is, this brute force, if you have a braided device, this will not shorten. What could have been better was if the sheath was bigger in size, the device could have very easily come into it. Or you cut a bevel, and if the bevel is cut and the opening is big, then also you can possibly take the device within the sheath, which could not be done in this case because of various logistic issues. If you see, what is happening is this sheath is shortening, and what happens is the sheath becomes, as you pull it, the tip goes down, you are fixed at the groin, the sheath becomes like this. So even if you're able to get your pin into the sheath, now the device will not move within this kinked sheath. So one should refrain from applying this much of a brute force, because even if you're able to get a device partly into it, subsequent movement will be prevented because of this distortion of the sheath. In this case, we had already consumed non-braided sheath, and we had the braided sheath, and braided sheath you cannot cut a bevel. So we were limited. So again, caught the device and tried the luck on different occasions, pin and the screw, and they were all failing. So we thought, let us give a trial of using two snare technique, which was tried in this case. But despite using two snare techniques, we were not able to really take the device within the sheath. And repeatedly, we had to use this retrieval forceps to stabilize the device once it was flying to the right ventricle. And repeatedly, we had to go to the other side to catch it from the screw side. So now what is happening is the device, as you try to stabilize with the forceps, the device pin is facing down, but the screw is up. But these things can all be manipulated. You can push the duo upward, and you can tilt the device upside down so that now your screw is facing and you can catch it. All these maneuvers were tried, and we tried to catch it from this side, that side, single snare, two snares, tries to stabilize, and finally this was a failure. What we did was, we caught it from the pin, from the screw, different type of snares, not one snare, double snare technique. My friend tried to use a beveled sheath initially, failed, but then these non-braided sheath were consumed. So when I reached, this was already braided sheath, which of course is a kink resistant, but you can't cut a bevel on it. So we had also used forceps wherever it was required, and maneuvers, different maneuvers, and had a lot of patience. What we didn't have was, we didn't have a biplane catheter, we didn't have a large sheath, and maybe we lacked the skills to take the device in. So we are forced to send this patient to surgery. Any comment from the panelist? If there is no comment, so we thought, let us give it a try from the other route. We went from the SPC, and we tried to catch it from the screw. The device was already stabilized with the retrieval forceps. Now, finally, we were able to do some maneuvers and align the screw to the sheath. But as we are trying to apply force, this is failing to get any. Well, the simple reason is we are doing work in one view. If you check in the other view, you will find what looks to be aligned is really not an aligned thing. It is looking like aligned here, but if you check in the other view, this is not aligned. So this is one of very important problems while you're trying to retrieve the device. So then I thought, let us try and use a mechanical duo of the two snares And there's a trick involved in it. Once you're trying to use it, of course, you have already stabilized it with a forceps. And after you catch it with it, once this goes inside, then you can release this forceps. And but how do you get in? You get in is you have the, if you look at this, you have a first snare, which is catching the device from as near the pin is the screw is being caught as near the device as possible, not the free end. The second snare tries to catch it from near the free end or the tip of the screw. And you try to make a couple. In this couple, what you try to do is you try to pull the second one and push the first one. This will be bent and this will be straightened. And with this kind of a maneuver, if you see there's a laxity in the first one, there's a tension in the second one. This tries to align the screw towards the sheath, and finally we were able to engulf it. And this is the final. If you see, it has been engulfed into, and after that, of course, the device was taken out. So what does it take on from me? I think you should select the case properly so that you avoid any embolization. And a stable looking device, often large devices, but even small can embolize. Most important thing while you try to retrieve a device is plan your case, because most of the time your patient is stable. Your patient is not hemodynamically unstable. And by planning, what I mean is you should preferably take a patient to a biplane cath lab if you have two systems. Try and have bigger and braided sheets. Don't cut sorry figures like we did in this case. We didn't have those sheets. Take the patient to a biplane cath lab. Try and have bigger sheets. If they're not available, arrange. Sometimes you can do a retrieval business. Or you can postpone it overnight, next day. Try and have more than one snare, just in case you require a duo of these snares. Try and have forceps also with you. And then you should be able to catch it from the screw, not from the pin, if you want to have a real tight, say, grip on this. And one might have to at times take an alternative route, like it was done in this case. Otherwise, a simple looking retrieval can turn into a challenging or a nightmare. Thank you very much. I think I